Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to the 12th episode of this webcast. In August there were no webcasts, so I will be compensating with perhaps one more every week, or if not every other week. So let's get started. So today I would like to talk about post-production and how to um, how to output our files, what considerations we have to have in mind, and as well as what tools we can use in order to output our images or our sequences into animations. Okay, so I would like to show you an image, a workflow I prepared. So and we can take it from there. There are some. Let's see. So on our earlier episode, we talked about we had the morph texturing, if I remember correctly, and we did the wormhole. So if let's say if I had an animation, let's see now. Let me. So if I had an animation of my wormhole, for example, like 200 frames, so that would look like that I would be having 200 images that I wouldn't be able to do anything with them until I process them adequately so that I would make an animation. Let me see here. So today, say that would look like that. Wormhole 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the frames that are being produced. Okay, so each frame is looks like this. So we have in order to bind them together, first we have to know what is our target medium. Okay, so do I want my animation to be played back only on the Amiga, or do I want to export it to bind it together as a movie, or as an MP4, you know, as an MPEG form, or if I wanted to if I want to publish it on the internet. So a couple of considerations to do is, first is what is my target medium. I have to know the platform I want to be having my animation played back on. So for let's say let's say I want to have my wormhole playback on the Amiga only. So that simplifies, first of all, my output, the file format I'm going to be using for the Amiga, which will be like IFF24, or it can also be a TIFF or any other format that my post-processing program is going to be using. I usually use almost every time I use ImageFX2. ImageFX2 has a batch processing sub program that is called AutoFX. That you can you can select a whole directory or a number of files, which works like this. Say I want all 200 frames to be processed. Okay, I choose them and then I add them to the program's sub window here. And on the lower right window there is a operations sub window where I can add commands for my images to be processed with. Just for the sake of it, I will be doing a simple rendering or a simple binding into animation. So if I scroll down here, there is a save rendered as anim. I think this defaults to anim 5. So then I press okay here. So what this batch process does is first it loads the image and then it saves the rendered image as an anim. Okay. However, there is something missing here, so I will just add it. Save no render. Yes. So what this does, I can show you how image effects works with it. Move commands to here. Yes. So first load, then render, and then save rendered. And this is our, this is the process I can use to bind my 200 or however many they are, and my images into an animation. In order to understand this, let me leave this thing here. And there, let me quit this. I don't need it right now. Let me show you how image effects works as a main program first. First, you have to have a buffered load in order for you to see it. In order for the program to render it, so that you will see the outcome. Okay, so let me load an image from my sequence that is called webcast images. No, episode 12 output, and just choose one. Okay, so this is how image effects shows. This is a preview. Okay, it's obviously not the finished image. And here you have the resolution and which file name it is. So in order for you to see the real output, you have to render it. Okay, so let's say this. Let's click on this. You click on this tab here, and then you choose the resolution that you think it's going to match approximately the resolution of the file, and then render. Right now I have chosen to be PAL high-res ham laced. Let's say if I have just high-res laced only, where is it? High-res, I want a high-res laced, yes. And then I can also choose the amount of colors here. Okay, say 256, and then I can add some dithering here, and etc. The only thing to consider here, if you want to output, if you want to use auto effects, is that first you have to fix this little window here. Okay. And the way to do it is first you select the resolution you want it to be output to, high-res template, say. Then this in ham, this is like up to 16. This is ham 6, and from 32 to 64, this is ham 8. So ham 6 would look like that, which is not too bad. Okay. And from 32 and onwards, this is ham 8. Okay. First we fix this one. This tab here, and then we go into auto effects, and auto effects will start when I select my files. Just let me do that though. Have another there. So the only difference between before and now is that I have saved the preferences for image effects just to save memory. I have told image effects to open on the workbench screen, okay? And you do it via prefs. I think there is already icon to do that. I don't remember doing it manually, so it could be that this is ready from the installation. Anyway, and then before I go here, I want to fix these requests here. You know, right now this is high res hand laced, but if I want, for example, to make an animation which will be 32 colors instead, you know, let me do that. So I choose high res laced and then 32 colors. I can test to see how my my image would look like in such a resolution and color count. And let's say webcast episode 12 and output, and choose one. Now it's loaded. Let's render it, and that's how it will look like. Okay, I might want to do some Lloyd Steinberg, yeah, just to be more on its you know, just to be more smooth. Hi guys, Vincent, Anthony, welcome guys. I hope you had a great holiday. Anyway, so when I'm ready with this tab, I go to auto effects. Okay, on auto effects I can choose all of my images, or I can choose just say quite a few, you know, whatever I want to do. I usually have a drawer with the amount of the images I want to manipulate, so that I won't be messing around with too much with this requester, you know, trying to select you know, a few from, like, say, like 1,000 or 2,000 images, which can be cumbersome. And then I press add files. I can insert files somewhere in the middle, wherever I want to, you know. I just do that and then insert if I want to do some linear editing, you know, mix animations. I can move frames. I can remove frames. Say select and then remove frames, and I can remove everything. Okay. So this is how image effects works. Now, in order to save a rendered Amiga native file, that's how I do it. I add, there is a logical sequence I have to follow. So as we said before, I loaded here, and then I press render to see it. Okay. What the file had was the true color format, and on the Amiga we cannot play back true color format animation. Actually, we cannot make animations by using true color format images, so we have to convert them into an Amiga friendly format, and that is why we rendered first. It renders in 8-bit in Ham8 format, and then it saves the rendered buffer. Okay, so our second step will be to render. I'm choosing this, and then I am saving rendered as. I can save it as an image sequence again, or I can finalize this and save it as an animation. Okay, and let's do just that. It will be, I think it will do it very fast. Animes, let's say warm all 32 colors anime. Okay, and I just let it do it. So here you can see the count, the frame count, 14, 15. Anyway, it's going a bit slow, so I may cancel it. And in the end, you're going to have an anime that will be playable on the Amiga. So yes, so let's take it from the beginning. Let's go to the workflow here and see what is going on. Okay, the first consideration is the target medium. Is it going to be an Amiga anime, or a movie, MPEG, GIF? You know, which we are going to be talking about how we're going to do these a bit later. Okay, and the next thing is the resolution. Do I want, you know, native Amiga resolutions, low res, high res, or do I want? I can also do create my animation, my images into internet friendly resolutions like widescreens, 1280 by 720, you know, or even, you know, I can go at whatever whatever size I want my resolution to be, provided that the file format that I want to save to supports that. To my knowledge, I think IFF24 supports resolutions up to 2K or even more. So I haven't found any. I haven't hit the barrier yet on that. However, other formats I had problems with. You know, like TIFF, the TIFF plugin specifically in Lightwave. Now, another thing I want to point out, whenever we do some work in Lightwave and save an image sequence, the best thing is to save our images in a lossless format. Okay, so this is like photography, you know. In photography, we keep a raw image that we will be manipulating later and then saving later into JPEG, you know, or you know, whatever format we want, as long as we have a master, a source that is top quality, that I know that it's going to you know, it's going. I will be having the freedom to manipulate it. And you know, I will be manipulating the top quality of the image so that I can control my output then. So some useful output formats, Lightwave outputs. Let's begin from the lossy ones. The lossy ones are IFFHAM6, IFFHAM8, and JPEG. There could be some other like rendition. I haven't tested these ones because there hasn't been any need, or you know, the PCs I've been working with, they didn't have any support for that. Maybe GIMP can load them, but I haven't tested. And the lossless formats I usually use to output my work directly from Lightwave is like IFF24. If I know I am going to be using my animation only on the Amiga, or TGA or TIFFs, TGA or TIFF sequences, if I wanted to be, if I want to have the possibility to manipulate it outside the Amiga. Okay, especially if I have WinUAE and I want to do a YouTube video, or I want to make a movie .mov, so that I will be able to, say, import it in Premiere, etc. Okay. So there is there are some considerations to work with. Now, it's safe to say that, okay, if I want an Amiga anim, then I have the possibility to, say, use whichever of these ones. And that's because Image Effects, the program I use, maybe you might be wanted to try your luck with Art Department Pro, which is quite powerful also. So from Lightwave, from the the Lightwave side, you can output to whichever you wish of these. Okay. Now there might be some some occurrences where you want to have a lossy output. Say if you want to make a test render and choose your choose JPEGs, just so that it will be it will be internet friendly, just to dump it somewhere. But have in mind that this is lossy, and you are going to be having the artifacts JPEG is notorious for. Okay. I've also, these flags here mean that these are Amiga only friendly, so you won't be able to load them into any PC software unless you have the GIMP IFF plugin that is been circulating on the internet. I think Midone used to. I think Midone did the IFF plugin for the GIMP on Linux. And there is also a plugin for the PC version of GIMP. So both are a possibility. So that's about it with these. I can show you now how to edit these in Lightwave. So let's say, first of all, let's look at what we did with our animation. I'm quitting these and reactivating my Opus, directory Opus here, and yes. And let's see what we did with a wormhole 32 colors. So this is my wormhole in low resolution. No, in high resolution, but 32 colors. Okay. So you have some flashes and some artifacts that are unavoidable, but it's quite, you can watch it. You don't get a pain in your eyes to say So whatever you do, make sure you keep your excuse me here. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your master say unaffected. You don't want to save your precious rendered 24-bit highest resolution image and lose the information that Lightwave made so much time to calculate. Okay, so never ever, okay, you can do as you please, but I usually I'm very careful with the first stage of my rendered images or sequences. So I know that whatever happens, I can continue my process, like say batch conversions for animation, or post processing, you know. Here, so these have to be safe, you know. If you want to do something, you just copy the whole directory, you know, and give it hell. Yes, that's the one that's first about how to convert into an anim. Okay. Now I'm going to show you an extra step I am taking in making. Okay, there are various iterations of the anim, the IFF anim format on the Amiga. I usually use the anim 8 long word, which is native and which comes with the info channel 500 package. Okay. I mean, the Scala info channel is for me the top multimedia player for and not only for the Amiga. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I do to and the extra step I am taking for compiling into anim 8 long word. So first of all, I have my output. This is my original. This is my master. My master rushes, if I may say so, directory. So I make dir I name it output rendered. Okay, and then I go to image effects again. I launch auto effects. First, I want to fix my render my render tab here. High res but ham laced, yes. 64, yes, it can go more. And then in the auto effects window, I am navigating to the directory I wanted to be. So output R, output first. This is my source. I select everything. I add them here. Okay. And then I am adding the commands rendered again. Oops, render and save render, which is here. Save rendered as. I don't want to add it as anim. I want to adjust. I just want to convert the true color sequence into a ham 8 sequence, and that's because AnimLab from the info channel package cannot compile from IFF24. I think, yeah, no, I'm almost certain. And when I've done that, I am pressing begin, and I choose the output. The output. Wait. Output directory, webcast, episode 12, output R. I want the new rendered images to get there. Okay, and okay. And it starts doing that. Okay. So this is a very basic post-processing sequence. Of course, I can also I can add various filters, because all these big list auto effects gives me for image processing. There's also in image effects toolbox. Say, I want to add the lens flare there. I want to handle the brightness or some color. I want to do some color correction on the, you know, the whole animation. So image effects can do all of these. And if we have time, we may do some more examples regarding this thing. Now, as the batch file is going on, let me see. Yes. So how do I choose a custom resolution? First, let's go to Lightwave and see what camera has to offer. So the camera tab has everything resolution wise, if I may say so. Okay, so there are 5 standard resolutions here, which are based on the video standard. The default being 640 by 480. On the pixel aspect ratio, you have the 2 substandards, the broadcast substandards like PAL and NTSC. Okay, so PAL used to have 720 by 576, and it runs on 25 frames per second, which is half of the 50 hertz renewal of the CRT, of the old CRT monitors we used to have in Europe. In Europe, I think the whole world, apart from the US and Japan. Japan, on the other hand, and the US used the NTSC format, which was a bit more widescreenish, but it had 29.95 frames per second, or I think it was 30 or 29. Anyway, yeah, let's say 30 frames per second. So these should be taken into consideration when we say, okay, I want my animation to be played back on my Amiga, but I live in the US. So I will make an NTSC resolution instead. Okay. Nowadays, of course, with the digital media, the most probable the most probable format is having square pixels. This actually squeezes the pixels so that they will be more compatible with the screen. Okay, so but square pixels is, they are being used everywhere. Now let's say I want to export. I want my animation to export in the say 72p progressive format, which is kind of style 1280 by 720. So what I do is I enable this custom size thing, this custom size selection, and then I input my resolution. Now, all true color formats support quite high resolution numbers, so you won't be running into trouble. But for the sake of safety, you can in connection to this one, go to record and then choose a format and save, and see if this is the result you want to have, or if the plugin crashes. You never know, because the plugin hasn't been updated since 95. So yeah, we're quite old there. Sometimes I think I run into, I wanted to do a 3-4 no, wait. I wanted to do a 5,000 times 5480 times 380 50 something, and you know, it used to render for 6-8 hours. Now we're talking about the i7, okay, not the Amiga. The i7 was rendering for 7 hours per frame. I wanted one frame, and then I had selected the TIFF plugin, you know, the TIFF extension, and it crashed. It crashed majestically, and I lost, you know, so much work. But anyway, but 24-bit IFF, you know, it worked flawlessly, even in these insane resolutions. So this is another thing that should be tested before you're sure, you know, you start your animation rendering and turn off your monitor for the night. Let's see what. Great. So back in our Anim 8 creation. Hi Santi, welcome. Now, first step was Lightwave outputting our IFF24. Second step, now this is my second step, where where ImageFX took the 24-bit format and did it and converted it into a rendered format, so that Scala would understand that. I'm quitting that and go to info channel, Scala info channel, and press system, and then up here there is the Anim Lab that uses to. It's like in ImageFX, but it has some more options regarding animation creation. And I am navigating to my directory output R. These are the saved rendered images. I am selecting everything, 200 files selected here, and then I am saving as an animation, and I tell it wormhole, hello wormhole, and say ham8. Okay, so here I have to make some adjustments as well. Save as I want animation. Okay, resolution same. There are some other choices, but I don't want to. Yeah, you just, if you do this, you know, you can choose some other animation, some other resolutions anyway, but I want it to be the same as my images, like 644/80. Colors the same. Again, I can lessen the colors, but I want it the same. I wanted to keep the ham8 palette. Anim format. Here is why I've been doing this. I've been doing this extra step. So Anim 8 long word. This is by far the most say, artifact-free animation format, because if you, let's say you have an Anim 5 and you want it to loop, sometimes it's producing some it's producing nasty artifacts in ham8 mode. So if you want ham8, you probably want to go into the animate long word format. Sandy has a question. You're asking if Scala will play animations from memory only. Yes, mostly yes. In WinUA, I usually have all, you know, its memory access is very, very fast. You may encounter when your memory is full and you have a sequence of animations. You know, you have animations in in a row and you want to start playing them back, your memory, if it is full, you may have a delay between animations, because it will want to free the memory and then start loading the next animation in order to play it back. So there is no preload in Scala. Scala does no preload. I don't know if Clarissa has a preload function. That would be very, very tricky. I remember having an old SCSI disk that I used to, sometimes I would put a memory animation, and then I would put a disk anim animation, and then memory, and then disk anim, but it didn't work that good. Yeah. And so Scala is a bit, no, actually the system is quite old, and you can't ask too much of it, unless you're on WinUAE, where everything happens just like this. But just to end this parenthesis, we had done a demo with Midone back in 2014, the Killing Game Show 4, KGS 4, if you guys want to watch it on YouTube, where we exploited that. Since we had this bottleneck, Scala is quite smart when you have an image before the next animation. Sorry. So while you have the image showing, the animation gets preloaded in the background. And so if you have something to say on an image as an image, you can exploit this feature, and it can run flawlessly, let's say. So in this demo, we used images to tell a story, and then the next and while the animation was preloading in the background. Regarding vampires, I would really like to see how this bottleneck is minimized, mostly because I think I think they only have 128 RAM, megabytes RAM, anyway, something like that. Anyway, back on our topic, I'm choosing Anim 8 Longword. Picture format, it doesn't let me choose. Palette, I want the same, and remap normal. I don't want anything to be done to the palette because it's already at its highest, Ham 8. Overwrite, this is file related, if I want to overwrite anyway. Include script text. Show rendering, I don't want to show that. Append extension, this is the extension is file related anyway, and pressing execute. The animation starts getting connected. Really, I've been wanting to get a vampire first for my Amiga, and then a V4 to see how the workflow will get better, or yeah. I have a vanilla 1200 waiting for the vampire, but yeah, I'm also waiting for the money to enter my wallet. Anyway, so with my animation batched, I go to my animes and choose the wormhole Ham 8 anim, double click, and then press. I have 25 frames per second. Here's the disk anim anyway, but show loads it into memory. Ah, out of chip memory. Ha. Oh yeah, I had some programs. Now my Amiga crashed. But anyway, we'll try it again. Happens to the best of us, or the worst of us. Cheers, by the way. Anyway, we'll try again. Scala, animes, wormhole, 25, and show. And this is my little, wormhole, whatever you want to call it. And I can also, Scala has very nice features here. If I have my workflow, it's kind of linear editing. You can't do anything parallel. You don't have layers, for example. But even so, this is it is a very powerful program. I can have a loop here. I can show it infinitely. Starts, continues and goes on and goes on. Yeah, Scala is amazing. Both the intro and the outro are being played back on Scala info player if you guys have watched since the first episode. So this is my wormhole. Okay, so this is one extra step we can make for just to take advantage of Anim 8 long word. There is also Anim. Actually, I can show you all the there are some choices here. There is Anim 5, which is global, everything can play back Anim 5 on the Amiga. Then you have Anim 8 word. This format is a bit smaller than Anim 8 long word, but it is also slower. It is what did I say now? Yeah, it is shorter on the byte count, but it's also slower. It can be slower. This is more optimized for speed compared to say to size. It's negligible actually, but anyway. And then you have some Anim 16 and Anim 16 indexed, and Anim 32 Anim. Sorry, I think they are interlaced. These are interlaced. So these were if you were using Scala Multimedia 300, it had these Anim 32 and 16 choices, just because at the time there was no Anim 8 available. So when Anim 8 was developed, they decided to keep Anim 16 and 32 as options in Anim Lab. Okay. These are somewhat inferior. They were faster than Anim 5 and Anim 7, but they are slower and their performance is not that good as Anim 8. Okay. So Anim Lab, great program. Image effects, great program. So Lightwave image effects, Anim Lab, or Lightwave image effects, and then you make an animation. Okay. Now, what happens if I want to output my images for say for a YouTube video? Okay, so it's quite simple actually. You just make sure to output in Lightwave. You just make sure to choose one of the, say, PC friendly formats, like from JPEG, TIFF, Targa, etc. And here 34-bit Targa. JPEG is lossy, as we said. I don't know if you guys want to make some, if you want to make loss to have lesser quality, but it doesn't offer anything except from size. So if you're running out of size and you want something compact, JPEG is the way to go for sequences. I usually use TIFF and Targas. This Targa here. This is Targa 32. Targa 24-bit Targa. This is enough. Targa 32 has some. I don't remember if ImageFX loads that. So if you want intercompatibility, you can go for Targa or TIFF. So both ImageFX and your PC are going to be able to load them and process them. Also, one other thing, you can also have post-processing in Lightwave itself. So how to do that? Let's say I want to manipulate my let's say I want to put a spaceship in front of my wormhole, but I didn't have the memory to load both objects. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be rendering the background first, which is the wormhole, say, which is ready. Then I load it as a sequence. Load sequence. I'm navigating to my webcast, episode 12, output. This is my master, not the R1, and double click on one on a file, and then Lightwave itself is going to understand, oh, this is a sequence, and it is going to see how many sequence digits there are. For example, again, I can show you these 4 digits here, and then it is also going to understand the extension, .iff, the extension. Okay, so the wormhole sequence is loaded now, no matter if it doesn't show anything here. It doesn't matter. So let's press F9. Wait a minute, and well, let's press F9. So why don't I have anything here? I loaded the sequence. That's because I didn't tell Lightwave what to do with it. What should I do with it? So I go to compositing, effects, compositing, and I choose my sequence as a background image. And now it's going to do something with it. I still don't have anything. Why? The answer lies to the file name of the sequence. So if I go to my sequence again, I will see that it starts with frame 1. Okay, so frame 1. So cancel. And what frame am I at? Frame 0. Can it be that? So let's advance 1 frame and press F9. Oh yeah. So that was it. So Lightwave is quite smart into say marrying the name of the file, the numeric identity of the file, to the frame of my scene. Okay, so 0 you won't have anything, but 1 you will have something. And you can also manipulate that, because here you have the choice to move your image sequence. Let's say if you see the timeline, forward or backwards, and that you can do with frame offset. So if you frame offset it by 1, then you're gonna be having something on frame 0. So frame 1 from the sequence went to frame 0, and likewise the whole sequence. Okay, let's put it back because it's better to keep things tidy. Say again, frame one, and then I can load my, say, I can either load an object or I can manipulate. Actually, I can do some post-processing with some image processing with various plugins that there is. For example, I can have the image to be negative. See? I can infrared vision. How will it look in infrared? Or gradient? What is that? Oh, cool stuff. Color at the top of the image. Aha, yeah. You can have it gradient here, so it will be like, yeah, more orange here and more white on top. So you can do a gradient, and you can also try this, if I remember correctly, without compositing. You can create gradients just like this. Yeah, see. Let me put my image back, and there are many things you can do, both as post-processing and as well as putting some other objects, and you make a layer rendering, you make a layering. You can make a super scene by having scenes from first the background and then building up to the height of the camera. So this is the vignette. Okay. So it's up to you which tool to use for image processing. However, I use image effects for reprocessing into another file format, or I just export it, or I just take the contents of of the drawer if I have saved my images as TIFF, TGA, and then I can use a tool like FFmpeg to compile all these into say a MOV file or an MPEG-4, for example. Okay, so that was it. Are there any questions about the workflow, the formats, anything that is not clear that I didn't explain correctly? Okay, great. So before we close, I'd like to thank everyone, but especially the supporters of the webcast. George Sokianos, also known as Volkero, thank you. Yarla, thank you very much. Midwan, thank you very much. Anthony Jarvis, thank you very much. GS, that's the initials. I don't have any other name. Thank you very much, GS. And John Marchant or John Markant. Thank you guys, and see you on Monday. Let me see now. How do I quit? Yeah. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye guys.